What's happening, people? Back with another reaction, back with some more solo Morten Harket, and we're going back to his 1993 Norwegian language album Poetenes Evangelium, which I now understand to be sort of an exploration of his Christianity, his spirituality, so I have the album more properly framed now. Shout out to all of you. And yeah, the third tune is called Salome, which I believe, I don't think she's actually named in the New Testament, but I believe she was Herod's stepdaughter who, for whatever reason, decided that she wanted John the Baptist punished, and so she asked Herod to bring her his head. And so I believe Herod had John the Baptist captured and beheaded. So I imagine the song will relate to that narrative. Again, I don't think she's named as such in the New Testament. I think it was through an outside account. Is it like Flavius something? I think it was a Roman writer, Flavius Josephus, something like that. But I think he named Salome in a depiction of that narrative, and ultimately that's how she's come to be known by name. I do actually think it points up a sort of interesting historical quirk, which, if you become a historian, you encounter this even if you don't study things that are all that long ago. For most of human history, humans did not use surnames. The identification was your given name and then where you're from and or the societal role that you fulfill. So you were like John of Tours or like Geoffrey of Naples, say. Maybe not Geoffrey of Naples, but you get my point. Ultimately, we had given names, and humans were largely identified by where they lived, where they came from, and or what job they performed. And if you didn't know, Schneider, it's an anglicized form of the German word Schneider, and Schneider means tailor, meaning at some point in my family's history there were people who made clothes. So ultimately the fact that she's referred to as Salome III in historical literature points out not only the way in which through most of human history and in most places around the world you had a given name and other associations in terms of your identity, but not another name per se. But it also points out the difficulty of historical research. You start looking at a document, it's like, oh, Salome, okay, so they're talking about this person too. It's like, no, actually, they're talking about another person with the same name, but you would never know because they're both just called Salome and there's no other identifier. Historical research it's a bugaboo. You have to be careful, especially the farther back you go, because records become more ambiguous, and ultimately, again, you're dealing with single word names often, and it's very easy to confuse people who lived in a similar time and place, but actually were different people. So these are all the things I think of when I look at a name like Salome. So I imagine, as I said, it'll have to do with that biblical narrative related to John the Baptist, so we might hear him referenced perhaps, but let's get it. This is Salome by Morten Harket on his 1993 album Poetenes Evangelium. Bit more of a funky groove than I expected.
Til ørkenen og kaos som stod stemt I blikket som var indadvendt og sundt Tårer du Salome, da vi
I like the vibe of this tune. Different than I expected.
Og den slinget som profet Øyeblikket av musikken stanset Og mannen tok deg med til evigheden Blant dronningen var gjestene og klakker Jeg tok deg med som om du var en aften Som hadde festnet I hans døbekatter Så som hadde festnet I hans hår Slik ble du nesten ett med døpenavnet Mens andre kongedøtres navn forgår
There's a funk to this tune. Which admittedly is, given some other things I've heard by him in solo work and album, as I'm now understanding it, yeah, it's not expected, but I enjoy it. Almost a bit psychedelic with that one layer.
Caravane Salome de danse. Pardonne-moi,
Really high, like.
I break it on second steps. Un momento te metti
Surprising sonically. I love the groove of it. It had a funk to it. There are a couple moments in that one layer in particular that were giving me sort of like a kind of lost in a sort of like psychedelic experience sort of feeling. So yeah, a couple different flavors. But like I said, a lot of stuff as I've come to hear, or like if I have come to expect a flavor from his solo work, it's a bit more like kind of folksy and sort of soulful and so on. This one had soul, but like in a different sort of understanding of the term. It felt like it had a funk, it had an attitude to it. So yeah, let me know if the lyrics are about that biblical narrative, or let me know if Salome is like a different reference that I'm not aware of. But yeah, given what the first two songs have been about, I felt like that was where the song must be heading. But like I said, without knowing how to speak Norwegian, I'm not, I'll rely on Carrie and others to sort of help me with this. So yeah, cool tune, and sonically especially, I enjoyed the way it surprised me in that regard. So again, it's just another trick he has in his musical bag. So in any case, let me know what you think. I will see you next time. Peace.